Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. On Saturday, the Ministry of Health reported over 21,000 new coronavirus infections in Poland. This was the highest number of daily infections reported in the country since the beginning of the pandemic.
The largest number of new infections was recorded in the Mazowieckie, Śląskie and Wielkopolskie provinces. The Ministry of Health reported new 343 COVID-related deaths. The total number of confirmed cases of coronavirus infection in Poland is now at 1,889,360, and the death toll has risen to 47,068. Over 4.5 million people have received the coronavirus vaccine in Poland so far. Nearly 3 million people have received the first dose, and nearly 1,600,000 have received both doses of the vaccine.
United States President Joe Biden held a Rose Garden celebration on Friday to mark the signing into law of his American Rescue Plan. According to Biden, the $1.9 trillion coronavirus stimulus bill is to promote equity in the country.
Flanked by Vice President Kamala Harris and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who shepherded the $1.9 trillion coronavirus stimulus bill through Congress, Biden said it would promote equity in the country.
I promised the American people, and I guess it's becoming an overused phrase, that help was on the way. But today, with the American Rescue Plan now signed into law, we've delivered on that promise. And I don't mean I've delivered, we've delivered.
The bill is designed to be a financial bridge to hard-hit Americans and to boost the economy, and is a major political victory for the Democratic president fewer than 2 months into his administration.
This legislation, as everybody's already mentioned, will provide $1,400 in direct payments, which we all promised. Well, that means for a typical family of four, a middle-class family, husband and wife working, making $110,000 a year, that means $5,600 check they're going to get. 85% of the households in America will be getting this money. And a lot of you know, because of the way you came up like I did and others, what that can mean. Think of the millions of people going to sleep at night staring at the ceiling thinking, my God, what am I going to do tomorrow? I've lost my health care, don't have a job. Unemployment runs out. I'm behind in my mortgage. What are we going to do? Well, guess what? They're going to be getting that check soon, either by direct deposit or a check from the Treasury.
The small ceremony was attended by senior administration officials and members of Congress.
It's time that we build an economy that grows from the bottom up and the middle out. The middle out. And this bill shows that when you do that, everybody does better. The wealthy do better. Everybody does better across the board. If that's our foundation, then everything we build upon will be strong, a strong foundation. Our competitiveness around the world, the jobs here at home, the health and quality of our lives. That's what the American Rescue Plan represents. And it's all about rebuilding what I've been saying, and Bernie and a lot of others are saying, the backbone of this country.
Coronavirus-related lockdowns and restrictions have cost millions of jobs, and Biden is focused on confronting the economic fallout.
And I said last night, this is not over. Conditions can change. We're not finished yet. Conditions can change. The scientists have warned us about new variants of this virus. And the devil is in the details of implementing this legislation.
The package provides $400 billion for $1,400 direct payments to most Americans, $350 billion in aid to state and local governments, an expansion of the child tax credit, and increased funding for COVID-19 vaccine distribution. The bill passed without a single vote from Republicans, who complained the price tag was too high.
Every American watching, help is here, and we will not stop working for you. Together with you, we are showing it's possible to get big, important things done. That's what America does. It tackles hard problems. And how we do, look, it's how we do have it within ourselves to come out of this moment, which we've been saying, a lot of us have been saying for a long time, more prosperous, more united, and stronger than we went in.
Biden and top members of his administration will embark on a victory lap of the country in the coming weeks to laud and explain the legislation.
According to the head of the World Health Organization, the state of the COVID-19 pandemic in Brazil is deeply concerning, and serious action needs to be taken to deal with the rising cases and deaths there. According to World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, unless serious measures are taken, the upward trend now flooding the health system and becoming beyond its capacity will result in more deaths.
And the situation is very concerning. We're deeply concerned, actually, because not just the number of cases, but the number of deaths is also increasing. So to have a dent on the transmission to make a significant impact, there should be very serious social measures that should be taken, and with the participation of the community.
He said all stakeholders should take the situation seriously, adding that neighbouring countries could be affected.
I think was yesterday's data I was looking at had already crossed 2,000 deaths per day. So it's getting very serious. And I think starting from the government, all stakeholders should really take it seriously. I said it last time, Brazil neighbors many countries in Latin America, almost all of them except a couple. And some countries are doing better in the neighborhood. But if the situation in Brazil continues to be serious like this, then the neighboring countries will be affected. And it's not about the neighboring countries, but it could go even beyond.
The World Health Organization's top emergencies official, Mike Ryan, said Brazil's health service was considerably pressurized and that the country was not going in a good direction.
And there should be clear message from the authorities on what the situation is and what measures should take, and enforce those measures with full participation of the health system and the population. Unless serious measure is taken, the upward trend, which is now flooding the health system and which is becoming beyond its capacity, will result in more deaths.
On Guinea's current Ebola outbreak, Ryan said that it is likely to have been sparked by a latent infection in the human population from the last outbreak, rather than from the virus jumping the species barrier again.
We certainly would like to see Brazil going in a different direction, but it's going to take a huge effort for that to happen. The system is considerably pressurized right now, and while many countries in Central and South America are moving in a good direction, Brazil is not. I think the DG said it, that this needs to be taken very seriously in Brazil. Certainly the situation in Brazil has worsened. There's a very high incidence of cases and increasing death incidents across the country. Certainly a very rapid increase in ICU bed occupancy, with many areas around the country running out of ICU beds, and interestingly, Amazonas actually improving situation with ICU beds as the wave passes through and the health system recovers. Other parts of the system and other parts of the country are coming under extreme threat. The Midwest and South regions have ICU bed occupancy more than 96%. So 96 out of 100 ICU beds are occupied. There's very little resilience and capacity left in the system. This is unlikely right now, based on the genetic sequencing, to be linked to a fresh zoonotic reservoir, and much more likely to be linked to persistence or latency of infection in a human subject, and that would be probably the longest period of time that such an event between such two events. Now, that I'm cautioning here, these are the first results and there's more studies that are needed.
Ryan told the briefing the preliminary finding based on initial genetic sequencing was remarkable because of the period of time for which the virus appeared to have lingered on. However, he urged further research. The family of George Floyd, the African-American who died on the 25th of May last year as a result of being strangled by a police officer during his arrest, has reached a settlement with the Minneapolis authorities and will receive one of the highest amounts of damages in United States history.
It is my great honor to announce that George Floyd's family, our legal team, and the city of Minneapolis and its leaders have settled the civil lawsuit in the death of George Floyd. The settlement is not just historic because of the $27 million paid out, but for the impact on social justice, policy reforms, and police reforms, because the financial compensation most directly impact George Floyd and his family, the future of their family. But it is the policy reforms that affects all of us.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.